She was on the cover of Forbes magazine, worth an estimated $4.5 billion, celebrated as the next Steve Jobs, and every single thing she told the world was a lie. This is the story of Elizabeth Holmes, and the startup that deceived Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and powerful institutions. This is Theranos. In 2014, Elizabeth Holmes was the most celebrated entrepreneur in America. She had dropped out of Stanford University at 19 to build a company that promised to revolutionize healthcare forever. The idea was simple, terrifying in its ambition, and apparently real. A single drop of blood from your fingertip could test for hundreds of diseases. No needles, no large laboratories. No waiting days for results. Instant, accurate, affordable for everyone. Investors poured hundreds of millions into the company. Walgreens partnered with Theranos to place testing centers inside stores. Military leaders praised the technology. Patients trusted the results. There was just one catastrophic problem. The technology didn't work. And the question that still haunts Silicon Valley today is simple. How did one person convince some of the smartest and most powerful people on Earth for more than a decade that she had built technology that never truly existed? The answer reveals something deeply uncomfortable. Because the most dangerous frauds are rarely built on obvious lies, they're built on beautiful ideas. Ideas so compelling that people stop asking questions. Elizabeth Holmes enrolled at Stanford University in 2002. She studied chemical engineering. She was brilliant, intense, obsessive, but what truly set her apart wasn't intelligence. It was presence. She studied Steve Jobs, adopted the black turtleneck, spoke in a deep, deliberate voice, and learned how to command a room. Her mission sounded noble. She claimed she wanted to eliminate the fear of needles, to democratize healthcare, to make blood testing accessible to everyone, in Silicon Valley, where disruption is religion. The story was irresistible. Money poured in, valuations exploded, and almost nobody asked the only question that mattered. Did it actually work? Inside Theranos was a machine called Edison. It was supposed to change medicine forever. But engineers inside the company knew the truth. The machine couldn't do what Holmes promised. Many tests secretly relied on traditional laboratory equipment made by other companies. The revolutionary technology was mostly an illusion, and the consequences were terrifying. Patients received false positives, false negatives, incorrect readings. People made life-changing medical decisions based on unreliable results. Employees who raised concerns were threatened, silenced, forced out. The Wall of Secrecy held for years, until one person decided enough was enough. In October 2015, Wall Street Journal reporter John Carreyrou published an investigation that changed everything. Former employees risked everything to expose the truth. The technology didn't work. The results were unreliable. Investors, partners, and patients had been deceived. Holmes fought back. She denied everything, appeared on television, called the reporting false. And for a brief moment, many people believed her. Then regulators arrived. Investigators inspected Theranos laboratories, and they found exactly what the whistleblowers had described. In 2016, regulators effectively shut down Theranos operations. Walgreens ended its partnership. Investors panicked. And the company, once valued at $9 billion, collapsed to zero. Federal fraud charges followed. The trial began in 2021. Former employees testified, investors testified, patients testified. And the image that Elizabeth Holmes had carefully constructed for nearly 20 years began to collapse. On January 3, 2022, the jury found her guilty of fraud. Later that year, she was sentenced to more than 11 years in federal prison. Theranos had no assets left. Many patients received nothing. But perhaps the most shocking part of the story wasn't that ordinary people believed. George Shultz believed. Henry Kissinger believed. James Mattis believed. Rupert Murdoch believed. Some of the most powerful and experienced people in the world believed. Because the story Elizabeth Holmes sold was exactly the story they wanted to hear. And that's the lesson Theranos leaves behind. The most dangerous frauds are never built on obvious lies. They're built on hope, on ambition, on dreams that seem too important to question. And when people stop asking questions, even impossible ideas can become billion-dollar realities until they collapse. Subscribe to Redwood Theory. Next week, the $47 billion Delusion. A company that convinced the world it was reinventing work itself. This is the story of WeWork,